Hello, welcome once again to our channel Bioholic with your Friday educator Olivia. Today I am here with the second part of photosynthesis, and I will describe today the early experiments that is done during the discoveries in relation to the photosynthesis. Before starting the lesson, I want to say that if you have not watched the last part, then check the description box of this video. I have provided the link. Don't miss the lesson, because there I have introduced you all about what is photosynthesis, where it actually occurs, what is the necessity of photosynthesis, everything. And also I have mentioned there the structure of mesophiles, chloroplasts. Go and check that first. So let's start today's class. Firstly, let's recall some important points regarding the photosynthesis. First of all is that the plants are autotrophs. That means plants can produce their food themselves. And by the process of photosynthesis, that is the process of their food generation, they convert the light energy to the chemical energy. And this chemical energy can be used by all the living organisms. And the photosynthesis mainly occurs in where? Yes, in the chloroplasts that contains the pigments, chlorophyll mainly, and these chloroplasts are situated mainly in the leaves of the plants. And by the process of photosynthesis, the glucose is produced, that is stored as starch, and as a byproduct oxygen is liberated in the environment. And the general equation of photosynthesis is what? Yes, the 6CO2 plus 6H2O in presence of light energy and chlorophyll, that is converted into glucose and 6 molecule of oxygen. The importances of these raw materials like the carbon dioxide, water, light, chlorophyll, chloroplasts, etc. were revealed during the mid-19th century. And today I will tell about those important pioneers or the scientists who discovered many of the important facts about the photosynthesis. First of all, I had to mention about the Joseph Priestley, who in 1770 showed the role of air in growth of plants, and he discovered the oxygen in 1774. Second important scientist is the Jan Ingenhousz, who showed that the green parts of plants can release oxygen only in presence of light. Later in 1854, Julius von Sachs showed that green parts in plant produces glucose that is stored as starch. This starch is the first visible product of photosynthesis. And T.W. Engelmann discovered the effect of different wavelength of light on the photosynthesis process. And Cornelius van Niel showed that photosynthesis is a light-dependent redox reaction. Now, let's move to the interesting experiments done by these scientists. At first, let's learn the Priestley's experiment, which is done in the year 1770. Priestley took a bell jar and put a lighted candle inside it. But after some time, he found that the candle is extinguished. Again, he put a mice in another bell jar. Surprisingly, the mice died also after some time. Now he took a big bell jar where he put the lighted candle, an alive mice, and a mint plant. He put all of these inside the bell jar. And he found that neither the candle is extinguished nor the mice died. Why this happened? He assumed that something is being released by the plant which was taken by the candle and the mice, that making them to stay alive. and the bad thing that was produced by the candle or by the mice, the bad thing was taken by the mint plant. So by this experiment, he proved that air is essential for the plants. So it is now understood by the Priestley's experiment that plants take in the carbon dioxide from the exhaled air and it releases the oxygen. Now moving to the next experiment by the J. Ingenhousz. He took 2 test tubes containing water and aquatic plant and put one in exposure to sunlight and put another in exposure to darkness. After some time, he noticed that from the test tube which was in the sunlight, some bubbles were coming out. But in the test tube which was placed in a dark place, there were no bubbles. So this Dutch-born British physician and scientist Jan Ingenhousz discovered that light is necessary for photosynthesis. In presence of sunlight, their photosynthesis is occurring, by which oxygen is produced. That's why, as a result, the bubbles are seen. But in absence of the sunlight, photosynthesis process cannot occur. Thus, there is no oxygen bubbles. Now the third one, that is von Sachs experiment in 1854. Von Sachs proved that glucose is produced by the process of photosynthesis and later that is stored as starch, which is the first visible product of photosynthesis. And he also invented that chlorophyll is confined to chloroplast. How we can know that by photosynthesis glucose is produced and that is stored as starch? Let's take a leaf and put it in the sunlight and take another leaf and put that in a dark room. And after some time, put iodine to both of the leaves. In case of the leaf that was in presence of sunlight, you will see the leaf will become blackish or bluish color, which proves that starch is present. But in case of the leaf that was placed in the dark room, after adding the iodine, you will see no change. As in the dark place, photosynthesis cannot occur, so there is no glucose or no starch, thus there is no change of color. We can also prove it by hiding some portion of plants by some black clothes or paper and put that in the sunlight. And after some time add iodine to it, you will see all the portion that was exposed to the sunlight will be blackish or bluish in color, but the portion that was hidden due to the black paper or black cloth, there is no change of color because light cannot reach that portion, so their photosynthesis could not take place. Clear? Now, the Engelmann's experiment. Engelmann described the first action spectrum of photosynthesis. By using a prism, he split sunlight into its spectral components, that is VIBGYOR, and then illuminated green algae cladophora placed in a suspension of aerobic bacteria. Aerobic bacteria means what? Aerobic bacteria means those bacteria that requires oxygen to stay alive. After placing, he saw these aerobic bacteria accumulated mainly in the region of blue and red light of the split spectrum. So by this experiment, he proved that photosynthesis takes place mostly in exposure to red and blue spectrum. In those places, photosynthesis is occurring at higher rate, so there is more production of oxygen, and because of this reason, aerobic bacteria are accumulating in those regions. Now, the Van Niel experiment that was done in the year 1930. He did his experiments by taking some purple and green sulfur bacteria. We all know the general equation of photosynthesis where oxygen is produced. This oxygen is coming from where? From the carbon dioxide or from the water, as both of the raw materials contains the oxygen. He took H2S or hydrogen sulfide in place of the water or H2O in those sulfur bacteria. And he saw that in presence of light, there the bacteria are producing sulfur compounds and not the oxygen. So by this experiment, he confirmed that in green plants, the H2O is the hydrogen donor and is oxidized to oxygen. Some organisms do not release oxygen during photosynthesis. When H2S instead of the H2O is used, then the hydrogen donor for the purple and green sulfur bacteria becomes the H2S. The oxidation product is then the sulfur or sulfate depending on the organism and not oxygen. And hence he inferred that the oxygen evolved by the green plant comes from H2O and not from carbon dioxide. So he worked out another formula or equation. According to him, the photosynthesis equation should be CO2 plus H2A plus light, where a CH2O compound is formed along with the A2 molecule and water. Is it clear? Now, here is an experiment to prove carbon dioxide is also essential for photosynthesis. Take a glass bottle and add KOH or potassium hydroxide to it and close its mouth with a split cork. Now, take a leaf and insert this leaf by the split portion of the cork into the bottle. Put some portion of the leaf outside the bottle. After some time, take that leaf out and add iodine to it. Let's see what happens. You will see that the portion which was outside of the bottle becomes blackish or bluish due to reaction with iodine, but the portion which was inside the bottle, there is no change. As in presence of KOH, there is no carbon dioxide, so their photosynthesis cannot take place. But in the outer part which was out of the glass bottle, carbon dioxide from the environment participated in the photosynthesis process. The starch or glucose is formed, which is reacting with the iodine and changing the color. So this experiment proves that carbon dioxide is essential for the photosynthesis process. And at last, another important scientist, Charles Barnes, because in 1893, he proposed that the biological process of synthesis of carbonaceous molecules from carbonic acid in the presence of chlorophyll under the influence of light be referred to as photosyntax or photosynthesis. Later, this process is named as photosynthesis. So the name photosynthesis was coined by Charles Barnes. Okay? So as a summary, Charles Barnes named photosynthesis. Joseph Priestley discovered that plants produce oxygen, though Lavoisier named oxygen later. Then Jan Ingenhousz invented that light is necessary for photosynthesis. T.W. Engelmann discovered the role of color of light. Von Sachs discovered that glucose is produced by the photosynthesis, that is stored as starch later. Van Niel discovered that hydrogen of an oxidizable compound reduces carbon dioxide to cellular material in the process of photosynthesis. And Jean-Baptiste van Helmont is famous as he proved that plants need water for photosynthesis. So isn't it interesting? If you have any queries regarding today's class, you can ask me in the comment section, or you can also mail us through our mail ID. Today's class was all about the early experiments of photosynthesis, and next Friday I will describe the different photosynthetic pigments like chlorophyll, carotenoids. For the self-assessment test of today's class, check the link in the description box. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe our channel and also share this video with your friends, because sharing is caring. Thanks for watching. See you in the next Friday. Stay tuned with Bioholic.